We're going to start this swing from part way back. It's in a pretty good position. And what we want to watch is, do we get a good rotation of the right side around to the left side, especially the right knee moving towards the left knee. So watch the takeaway, pretty good there. A little sway off the side. At this point, I'd like to see his butt still behind him so that this is a straight line, not a line that's kind of curved. You can see how his shoulder's closer to the line than his hip is. So we'd like to see that. Now let's see if he rotates around to the front side. There goes the body moving forward. But notice that the right knee is stuck in place. We don't have any momentum going forward. None here. I still can't see the glove fingers of the left hand or the fingers of the left hand. The right hip is stuck. His right arm is bent because he can't extend it as far down the line as he needs to. And he finishes standing mostly on his back leg. He hasn't moved any weight up and over the front leg. At this point right here, the golfer should be on a straight line right there over his lead foot, his left foot. His hip, his shoulders, and his ears should be on that line. That's how much forward momentum we have to build for this golfer. Here we have our color-coordinated golfer in Ricky Fowler orange. Let's watch this swing in slow motion. Little fidgeting going on, trying to decide what to do. Actually, pretty good swing. The one area we're going to work on is here at the top of the backswing. We want the left arm to be straight and parallel and slightly above the shoulders. So it should be a little bit more on this line from the target up. That should be the line of the shoulders and the lead arm. The club's a little too laid off. I do like the position of her left wrist, nice and firm and flat. And then she makes a nice turn back right to the ball, right on through it. Pretty good. But because she's swinging so flat, it's hard for her to keep her head still. So we're going to work a little on that. Let's run this in slow motion, and then we'll back up to just after the contact point where you see where the arms kind of come apart a little bit on her. So we'll switch it down to slow motion. Nice, aggressive, wide takeaway, very good. Little lifting and through the shot. While that looks pretty good, if we just back it up to right about in here, you can see the elbow starting to come apart on the swing. And right there, instead of getting nice full extension down the line, both elbows are bent. That's probably caused because right here at the top of the swing, she got no club lag at all. At this point now, the club should be on this line, where it's almost pointing straight up. See that? So let's see if we pull this down a little bit. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So if we get to pull that swing down a little bit, we'd see that she's standing up, need to get a little more wrist hinge so she can get those arms long. Throw those hands at the target line. Let's go ahead and draw the swing plane in with this golfer. The swing plane is going to be whoops, didn't mean to do that. The swing plane is going to be probably from about the ear down towards the ball a little bit, maybe a little flatter than that because she's standing so upright. She's going to have a fairly upright swing. Let's see what happens. The club head needs to stay on or above the red line. And you can see on the way back she's getting the club way behind her. And check out the little action she's got going on there with that knee. How rather than turning that knee towards the other knee, the left knee is bending straight up and the right knee is stiffening. Now this is a style of golf called stack and tilt, but if you don't know you're playing that style of golf, you get yourself into trouble. So she goes to the top of her backswing, raises way up, slams the foot down, and then comes back down to the ball. Doesn't have a lot of leverage going on there and ends up kind of stuck right here. See, there's no rotation at all of the right hip around to where the left hip used to be. And there she's standing flat-footed. Now we're going to see a pretty good swing here. Now this is a guy that's only been in the golf course a half a dozen times. Let's go ahead and play the swing in slow motion. Nice wide takeaway. Turns through it. You know, that's a pretty good swing. Let's look at a couple of areas we can improve. One is right there at the top of the backswing. He could raise his hands a little higher, try to get a little bit more rotation, and try to turn this knee towards the other knee a little bit so he can open his hips up a little bit, get a little hip rotation in there. Then he's going to drive to the golf ball, maintains his club leg pretty good, right there, then just sort of stands up instead of driving towards the target. We'd like to see more momentum towards the target, so that, and he doesn't do that till after impact. See that? All the momentum's there, but he's already hit the ball. So we need the momentum happening earlier. What we're going to see here with this golfer is a complete lack of rotation of the left arm. He's in a really good setup, and as he goes back, he gets a pretty decent takeaway. Right there, that's pretty good. His feet have stayed balanced. He's got a nice 90-degree set to the hands and the club shaft. It's going to come down, keeps the lag a pretty long time, then he comes right here and just swings like that, where the elbows start to separate. They're not getting any rotation. The hips are locked in place. We haven't used any dynamic hip action to drive the club forward. We're swinging this totally with our shoulders, which is okay if you're putting, but it's really hard if you're trying to hit the ball a long way. See how stuck he is there? No momentum onto the lead side, even after the finish. He's still back. Here we have a good face-on view of the golfer. Let's go ahead and draw in the power line here. Right there's the power line. Let's watch him move away from the power line a little bit. A little too much head movement. Pretty good takeaway right there. Now what we want to see is the lower body move under the upper body. In other words, the lower body moves first, but we don't see that here. So we see actually that the shoulder is passing the power line well before the lower body does, and he ends up scooping. Ends up with a nice finish there, but at this point right there, he should be rotating the hands a little bit more. So all we got to do is get him a little more dynamic with the lower body, and he's going to turn himself into a pretty good finish. Okay, let's see what kind of a move we get into the power side here. We're going to go ahead and fire off the swing in slow motion. Pretty good takeaway. Not bad motion into the shot. That was actually pretty good. Let's back it up a little bit. Turn into the shot, rotate the hands. See, he's rotating the hands. But right here, the hips should be in front of the shoulders. And you can see that he's still kind of hanging back with this whole right side here is not coming in. So we're going to work on getting a little bit more hip rotation all the way through to a pretty nice finish. Let's go ahead and run the swing in slow motion, see what happens. Pretty decent takeaway. But what we see is the inability to get back down to the golf ball. There's a psychological need for most of us to lift. You can see the lifting going on right there. The whole body's lifting up. We'd like to see the body go down to the golf ball. Remember, our goal is to hit the ball, then the ground. So the ground is really the object. Here we have a single plane golfer a la Mo Norman out of Canada. The key to being a single plane golfer is to make sure that your spine, which sets your plane, doesn't lift up and down on your swing. Let's go ahead and watch the swing in slow motion. You'll see the lifting right there, almost straight up and down. There's falling out of the plane, then he never gets right back down to it. So what we're going to work on is having him come back down to his swing plane at impact, the same place he is at setup. Okay?